Hey, welcome everyone. Let's get into this crazy new development in the gaming peripheral world. Razer's CS2 theme keyboard featuring the Dragon Lore skin.
Yeah, it's wild. So they're taking a skin straight out of Counter-Strike and putting it on a keyboard, right?
Exactly. It's not just any keyboard. It's the Huntsman V3 Pro TKL, but now you can get it with that iconic Dragon Lore design. And yeah, there's an extra fee for that customization.
Right, and what really caught my attention is that it also ties into this recent ban from Valve regarding the snap tap feature in CS2. I mean, how does that even work?
Yeah, it's a twist. The keyboard can actually get you kicked from Counter-Strike 2 if you try to use certain functionalities. It's like Razer's collaboration is playing on the razor's edge of what's allowed.
So, is it that the keyboard itself has built-in features that conflict with the game's rules, or is it more of a symbolic nod to that controversy?
It's a bit of both, really. While the hardware is amazing and the design is on point, it's like a super collectible for fans. There's that underlying risk. Valve banned the optional snap tap feature last year, and now using a CS2 branded peripheral might trigger penalties in the game.
I see, so if you're using this keyboard, somehow you're walking a tightrope between exclusive aesthetics and the risk of being booted from the game.
Right on. It makes you wonder, is this a cool collector's item or a potential liability for serious players? It's almost like buying a fancy car that might not be street legal.
That's an awesome analogy. Fancy, but potentially problematic. So, let's break it down. Razer collaborated with Counter-Strike branding, and in doing so, they essentially embraced controversy.
Yeah, and also note that the collaboration is surprising because Valve, the folks behind CS2, clearly didn't want that snap tap function in the game anymore. Yet here comes Razer offering a product with a CS2 skin. It's like deliberately flirting with the rules.
And that's where things get messy. Some players might see it as a badge of honor, while others will be worried about getting banned.
Absolutely. There's this tension. On one hand, exclusive design, on the other, punishment from Valve. It's almost ironic, you know? I mean, who would have predicted that a keyboard's design could have in-game consequences?
Right. It's a really interesting gameplay of cross-media influence. But wouldn't you say Valve might eventually clarify or even adjust their policies if this becomes a widespread issue?
You'd think so. I mean, Valve's rules aren't exactly set in stone ever last minute, and they do adapt sometimes. But intentionally releasing a product that could get your account suspended seems like a risky move by Razer. It makes you wonder if they're testing the boundaries on purpose.
I get that point. But isn't it also possible that this is just a misstep? Razer clearly wanted to capitalize on the Counter-Strike hype. But maybe they didn't anticipate the enforcement issue altogether?
That's a fair critique. They might have jumped on the trend without fully weighing the potential fallout. It's a fine line between innovation and courting controversy.
So, do you think this will affect how gamers perceive Razer overall? I mean, they've got a stellar reputation, but now they have this questionable peripheral on the market.
I think it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, hardcore fans who love the aesthetic might overlook the risk. On the other hand, pro players who are super cautious about being banned could avoid it. It amplifies the debate over form versus function.
And it's intriguing how gaming culture thrives on such debates. You know, sometimes a little bit of controversy can spark a lot of discussion and even drive sales.
Totally. And it's like reimagining the whole accessory ecosystem. Making something that's not just a tool, but also a style statement. It's innovation in gaming aesthetics, even with the inherent risks.
Yeah, that's true. Gamers often value that boldness. But coming back to the functionality, I'm just a bit skeptical about what happens if Valve cracks down harder on these kinds of peripherals.
That's a valid point. You have to question, if Valve comes down even harder on hardware-induced rule breaks, could that cause a broader backlash from the community?
Exactly. It could force gamers to choose between supporting your favorite hardware brand and keeping their in-game status intact.
Right. And it's even more fascinating when you consider that this isn't the first time a peripheral has flirted with rule boundaries. There have been other cases where exclusive gaming gear sparked debate.
Yeah. Remember those motion sensing controllers that sometimes gave users an edge? This feels similar. Technology stepping into areas where it might disrupt established norms.
Absolutely. And it kind of opens up a broader conversation about how game developers and hardware manufacturers need to work together. I mean, it's like they're dancing around each other's rules.
I agree, but isn't there a risk that if they set too many precedents, it might lead to a fragmented player experience? Like some players get banned for using accessories while others stick to traditional gear?
Exactly. And that's where the whole ecosystem might be at risk. It's like having two classes of players, the premium accessory users and the traditional ones. That could really shake up competitive integrity.
Yeah, which brings up another issue. Are these kinds of collaborations pushing technological boundaries for fun? Or are they knowingly messing with the core gameplay experience?
I think it's a mix. Razer definitely wants to innovate and capture a niche market, but at the same time, they may be overstepping by aligning with a banned feature. It's a risky bet that could either pay off big or backfire.
And Valve clearly has the final say when it comes to in-game decisions. Their ban on the Snap Tap feature highlights that they have a tight grip on competitive fairness.
True, it's almost like Valve is sending a message. We appreciate the style, but don't bring our rules into your design. It forces companies like Razer to walk a fine line.
I wonder, do you think other companies will follow this trend, or is Razer kind of a one-off experiment in this space?
Well, if it turns out to be a hit with gamers, despite the risks, other peripheral makers might jump on board. They might try to negotiate with game developers for similar themed products, maybe even with better integration and fewer penalties.
Yeah, that would make sense. If done right, it could create a whole new market segment. Customizable gear that not only looks great, but complements the gaming experience without causing issues.
Exactly, though it's a big if. Valve's enforcement of rules serves as a huge check here. And let's be honest, no one wants to get suddenly booted from an intense match because of their keyboard.
Definitely not. It's a bit like having the best car in a race only to find out it's illegal on the track. You get it, right?
Yeah, totally. It's like, you're cruising in style until the ref blows the whistle because of a technicality. And that's the crux. Cool aesthetics versus practical gameplay integrity.
It certainly makes you question where the line should be drawn. Will consumers choose style at the risk of gaming infractions, or will they stick to the safe traditional gear?
Exactly. And that's the question Razer and Valve are now kinda dancing around. It's innovation meeting regulation, and you never know which side might tip the balance.
A fascinating intersection of design, tech, and policy indeed. I'm curious to see if this sparks further dialogues between hardware makers and game developers.
Oh, for sure. It's these kinds of bold moves that can sometimes reshape standards. Even if Razer ends up being a cautionary tale, it'll still push the conversation forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes a bit of controversy is exactly what the community needs to rethink the rules and innovate responsibly.
Well put. So whether you see the keyboard as an ingenious collector's piece or a potential risk to your online standing, it's definitely stirred up the gaming world. And that's our takeaway today.
Yeah, it's a game changer in more ways than one. Thanks for diving into this fascinating topic. It's given me a lot to think about.
Pleasure's all mine. Until next time, keep questioning the tech as much as the game.